JW.
Oh, sorry, I just had my handbook for the recently deceased. Welcome to Generation Movie on a Friday premiere day. Rich and I are happy to be here. My name is JW Colwell. Rich Drees, how are you doing, buddy? Rich Drees.
I'm doing A-okay. Feeling good today.
I said it. You appeared. It was amazing. So I have all my merch. Like, this is the nicest cup I've ever bought in my life. It's solid and it's super plasticky. And then the topper. This is the topper I picked, like a representation of the Here Lies Beetlejuice thing. There were other toppers, but I thought this one was the best of the four. They had like Bob's head. They had the sign with the Beetlejuice, and then they also had like a sandworm. But I like this one the best. And then this is, of course, the AMC exclusive popcorn bucket, which is a super cool.
It looks nice.
It is. It's solid. It's really like, it looks like pages. Like it's very.
If the nearest AMC was 45 miles away, AMC, I hope you're paying attention.
Yeah, I think Regal and Cinemark. That Cinemark in Scranton, the Scranton area, is one of the top 10 grossing Cinemarks in the country. So really? I don't think. Yeah, it is. It's. Well, we used to look at the numbers when we ran Endless Mountains Theater. The numbers for that Cinemark were astounding and just very hard to beat.
I mean, I remember when it opened and it was jam-packed every freaking weekend. It's lighter now, but it's lighter across the board. I don't know where it would stack up.
Now, well, the AMC I go to is right outside of Orlando. I don't go to the main AMC at Disney Springs. There's a huge AMC at Disney Springs, but I go to the one in Altamont, which is about 40 minutes away from me. It's 18 screens. They have an IMAX theater and a Dolby theater. It meets all of my movie going needs. I was at
AMC yesterday, or I mean at the Cinemark for two things yesterday. So,
oh, there you go. Well, yeah, we have some things to talk. Now we're here to talk about this, but Rich and I also happen to see the same. I want to say cult indie movie that's making its rounds right now, also this week, and it's this movie. And holy shit! So I want we're gonna get to it because I think it's I don't think it's without a doubt saying, Rich, that the second movie, Strange Darling, is one of the best movies of the year by a lot.
It's definitely on my top 10 list right now.
And I think it's going to be up for some Oscar consideration. It is being released late in the year, like August, September is a perfect time for it to release.
I would like to see maybe a little screenplay love for that.
Screenplay love. I also think cinematography love for Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi, yes, who
famous actor. But we're going to talk about that. Let's get to the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and then we're going to talk about Strange Darling. But Beetlejuice is here. It has been 36 years since we've had a Beetlejuice movie. That's a long time. I was thinking about this. Warner Brothers has gotten into the legacy sequel business, and it hasn't been profitable for them in any way, shape, or form. They did Dr. Sleep, and they did After The Shining, and they did Blade Runner 2049 after Blade Runner. They're not going to have to worry. They're not. Their
films than the box office, would suggest.
Yeah, they're phenomenal films. They're really well done legacy sequels that belong on any top 10 or top 20 list of legacy sequels that occur well after their primary film exists. But they just didn't hit. Like they didn't hit for some reason. But I would also say there wasn't necessarily a longing for a sequel to The Shining or a sequel to Blade Runner. But Rich, there is a longing for this guy. there has been a longing, I want to be part of it. I want to be there. Also, if you want to be more part of our reviews and our show Generation Movie, by all means, we have the scroll going on the bottom. Like and subscribe to us. We're super happy when we get likes and subscribes. Indie Escape Network on YouTube, or if you prefer, like and subscribe to our Facebook page. But there've been a long time. Like, there've been lots of rumors. There've been scripts out there that just didn't get made.
Yeah, well, when this movie first hit, they wanted to do a sequel. Warner's had two different ideas being developed. One was Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, and the other was Beetlejuice in Love. And I think Warren Scarron, who co-wrote and worked on the script for the first one, did one of those two. I've had drafts of those sitting around on a hard drive for years, and I can't be bothered to read them because I'm just like, I don't know, man. These don't sound good
they don't sound great. Well, and here's the thing. I think the reason this came about is twofold. I think before we get into the movie, get into the deep dive, I think the reason this happens is because Burton has been lost for a long time, Rich. And I think one of the things that gets Burton right is when he makes movies he loves. When he makes things that he can get in the weeds on and he can play with and do all of his different favorite things, like, and he hasn't really had the things to do it, but
yeah, I mean, for example, I would say he loved the topic of Big Eyes, the painter who painted those weird orphan pictures with big eyes. And I think that was something he was interested in, but it was a movie that didn't allow him to be his stylistic self. And that's kind of where it felt. Dumbo was a paycheck.
Dumbo was very... and also, like, I just think he's been lost. And I think one of the things is that brought him back a little bit was Wednesday. A year and a half, 2 years ago, when Wednesday premiered on Netflix, he was part of it. Jenna Ortega kind of fed his fire again. And I think they maybe got into like this place where, hey, maybe, and then Michael Keaton started like saying yes to things, saying yes to Batman, in The Flash, and to be honest, you can't have a Beetlejuice movie without him. So I think it was a perfect storm of why we're getting a Beetlejuice sequel. I rewatched the original. I think that's a very key part of this movie going experience this weekend. For anybody going, you should rewatch the original because there are some tiebacks, there are some callbacks. And I think I like the movie better than you did. From just brief conversations. I don't think it's perfect, and I don't know that I love it, but I love the character so much that I'm willing to forgive a good portion of the messy script and the messy story. But you hit it perfectly. Tell me why you're having a little bit of trouble with this movie this weekend.
Okay. Well, before I start, I do want to say I did still find things to enjoy in it, and I don't want to sound like for the next 10 minutes I'm going to be like, shoveling this into a dumpster. And I would say that it's a qualified. I would still give it a qualified recommendation to go see it, because I know, just looking at critic scores and talking to some other folks, I'm probably in the minority on the things I think
it's it's entertaining. It is a entertaining legacy sequel. That is the first thing everybody should know. It's entertaining as fuck.
The first thing that stuck out for me, and probably because I did rewatch it like right before I got in the car and drove to the the critic screening I went to on Tuesday. Oh, and I have to talk to you about something off screen afterwards. I just remembered.
We'll get to
was the original is kind of has a very grounded and normal and measured pace to it. And then it has some funny things and some weird things that happen, but it has a very kind of deliberate order to it. And then Beetlejuice shows up here and there just a little bit and only becomes a real figure in the third act of the movie when he, is finally summoned forth and rains havoc on everybody.
He is an agent of chaos. He is an agent of chaos.
Yeah. This movie shot for, I don't know, 2 months or so. And Keaton said he was only on set for 15 days of that. So he was on set for probably a third of the time that they were shooting this movie to a quarter. So that gives you an idea of like how much or how little he's actually in that movie.
The original movie. He's not in. Yeah, going back, he doesn't really
balance.
The most famous scene in the movie doesn't actually occur till 45 minutes in. Right? That first, the job interview sequence doesn't occur to 45 minutes into an hour and 30-minute movie.
Mm-hmm.
To put it in perspective. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Beetlejuice just starts off chaotic. It starts off kilter. We're running around. We're doing an animated piece to show what happened to a certain character. We're doing which is great. It looks really fine. But overall, everything's kind of crazy and wacky and off kilter in the pace and in the styling of everything. That by the time Beetlejuice shows up fairly early in the process too, and suddenly you're just like, oh, he just kind of like slides in. He doesn't disrupt. He just like, oh yeah, here's another piece of chaos for you, and he's not disrupting anything because it's already all disrupted. And which felt weird to me, and it kind of in a way diminishes him as a presence in the movie, as that agent of chaotic demonness that he is. There's a lot of things that go on with him. I don't need to know Beetlejuice's origin. I'll say that. I don't care.
It's usually a gimmick moment, but you're right. I would prefer to be like
world building in most cases. Here, I didn't care about his origin. I didn't care about some of the other things we saw in the underworld. It was trying to like they were just gilding the lily of what they had before. They were just trying to add some more things, and it just didn't work right for me. I was very disappointed with a lot of that, unfortunately. The Soul Train idea, for example. But you were good. I'm sorry.
But let's. What I will say is, I think it's interesting. It is kind of stuttering or juddering, or it's juddy that he appears so much. Right? He comes in, and for a character we have not seen a lot of. You know what I mean? We just imagine what he's doing off. Here he's talking. He's running a business, and he's doing all these different things, and he's talking. Mm-hmm. He's at the water cooler talking to his friends, and like it's kind of more like the old cartoon show, where he was constantly on screen and constantly doing things. And
that's I was saying, that I've never watched the cartoon show though. So
okay, so as somebody who did watch the cartoon show. The cartoon show was a Saturday morning show that ran for about 4 seasons, and he was constantly part of it. Lydia was the standing, but he would come to her for adventures. And it'd be like, a traditional Saturday morning adventure, sprinkled Beetlejuice-ish. I think you're right about that.
Did the cartoon ever make mention as to why they are now friends? Or as to why she would hang out with this creepy guy who tried to make her a child bride?
No, because it was a cartoon show on Saturday mornings. It was more like, well, you're stuck with me kind of thing. And I think they try to do that a little bit with Lydia being what they choose for her, the idea that she's a talk show host and she's a paranormal investigator and all that. That's awesome. I think there are there are a lot of things that work, right? There are some things that don't. Too much Beetlejuice is one of them. I think the idea of Burton playing in this dynamic is better for him. He seems to be having a blast directing, where there have been movies that you and I have both seen from him where we're just like, he is fucking bored, right?
He's on
this, yes, but not this one, right? He is. No. There is an exuberance to it. There are belly laughs. There is also like. One thing I noticed, and everybody that I was sitting at the theater, everybody had this wide smile on their face. Like this is something they've waited 36 years for or later, you know what I mean? And it's just, now it's here and it's not that it's just okay, it's good. And I think the interesting thing is, one of the reasons it's good is because there are pieces from the original movie that are better than when they were in the original movie. all of a sudden Catherine O'Hara is a household name. So, you know, that character. Oh, she's great in it.
I wish they gave her more to do than the dumb storyline she did get.
Yeah, she's fantastic in this. And the character's really original in the original movie. She's, you know, this crazy artist character that they've branched her out into what she would be doing in her later years. And she is now a bona fide star, right? She was like, then she was kind of like a funny woman we used to see on SCTV and different things. Now she's a bona fide legit star because of Schitt's Creek. And you look at, and she's dominant. The scene she's in, she has 2 or 3 scenes with Justin Theroux where she blows him off just blows him off the screen with comic energy. Her own, and it's all coming from her. And I think she's a really good thing. I think Willem Dafoe, who plays a cop, who's not actually a cop, but he's an actor playing a cop. And he's really a lot of fun.
His scenes gave us the funniest running gag in the movie.
The coffee. You're talking about the coffee, right?
Yeah, of his assistant coming in with the coffee every single scene.
But you're not a cop, boss. You're an actor. It's
such a deconstruction
really well done.
of bad cop shows of, you know, that trope of just the secretary is there to hand coffee and
the jokes are all land with him. Like you know, even there's a bad ice joke that lands later on in the movie. Like it lands. There's a coffee there's a coffee can of garbage. It's just coffee stuff. It's so that really works. I think Jenna Ortega works as somebody younger to attach to, because she's, you know, it's not a great storyline. She doesn't get along with her mother.
Yeah, but I think, you know, some of that stuff gets overwhelmed by the fact that we're also running around with, you know, we're having to service the Lydia storyline, the Astrid storyline, the Charles storyline a little bit here and there. And the
Beetlejuice storyline, which is the dominant storyline.
Movie. And they just
I think that's one of your problems. I think what I can say that I think the Beetlejuice story kind of overwhelms everything, because if you go to somebody and you say, hey, you really want to see Beetlejuice in this movie? They're going to say yes, right? That's who we're coming to see, right? Michael Keaton, chewing scenery, throwing jokes, being a little dirty. Like, it's all there. But I do agree. I think he's a little bit too much in it, right? As the first movie was about the, you know, the couple was about Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, and about how they're adapting to the afterlife, and he's brought in as kind of like this chaos, the chaos demon, right? I think there are a lot of plot threads to hold up, and I don't know that anybody needed them. So I agree with you on the storyline thing. I think, there's also a whole storyline with Monica Bellucci as the ghost of Beetlejuice, or the bride of Beetlejuice, which is fun, and it kind of leads to Tim Burton kind of going back to one of his favorite things, which apparently is putting ladies' body parts together. Like, it's just something he likes. I don't know what that is.
I would check the freezer in his garage, really, if I
and the staple guns. But, and I think overall, though, I think people are gonna like. I think if your expectations are tempered, it might be better. I also think, I don't know that anybody's expectations are tempered. I enjoyed it. I don't know that it's the greatest legacy sequel I've ever seen, but it is, for me, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ghostbusters Afterlife, in the sense that it checked enough boxes for me where I go, they understand the original. It gets a little bit busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are some really great sequences that are peppered throughout. There's, the music sequence is really good.
I would say, though, that Ghostbusters Afterlife had an emotional through line.
Yes, because the
original Beetlejuice has an emotional component too. It's really just a meditation on death. Really,
what happens when we? What happens to our stuff? What happens to us? Yes. I think it's
the first movie answers that question in that world,
right?
And it doesn't have anything to ask about it in this new movie.
Well, and then I think this one is trying to do a commentary on ghost shows, trying to do a commentary on, yeah, there's things there.
It's kind of there. No offense, that feels like a reach to me. But
I got you. I hear you.
It didn't work for me really, but
I think I don't know that it worked. I'm just saying there are things where I think they were playing and trying to do different, like the real life death podcasts and the the ghost shows where people are like, oh, your house is haunted, we'll come and clean the spirits out for you.
Oh yeah, that's
except that she's real, right? So
yeah,
I do think that Ortega's a star though. Like no matter what we do with her, she's the energy coming off of her in everything she does. Something as simple as X, all the way up to this movie and Wednesday and all the things she does. There is a beaming amount of energy that she does kind of remind you of Winona Ryder, who was fairly unstoppable in that era when she was in everything and everybody wanted her in everything, Yeah.
And Keaton looks like he's having a ball too. So I'm not going to fault Keaton for going ham all over this movie. He is just having a blast. He's getting to do his thing. And he's probably getting a sizable check to do his thing. And I'm happy.
And if he's got to cut a merch, he's gonna make a lot of money. I saw today that Home Depot has a 6 foot tall talking Michael Keaton doll that looks like Beetlejuice and his head spins. I was like, what the fuck?
I'll tell you, what's been great about the promotion for this movie is he's gone on a lot of video things. I've seen him on doing like a 16-minute conversation with Jenna. I've seen him do like a 30-minute thing for GQ where he's breaking down some of his iconic roles. He's really out there talking about...
Did you see the hot ones? The hot ones.
No, I haven't seen the hot ones yet.
It was Michael Keaton. Okay, it was Michael Keaton. Well, first off, you should. It's a really great interview. Like the interviews
I hate hot food. I hate spicy food, and just watching people in discomfort from that, I was like,
Yeah, but you know what? The funny thing about it is that's what it started out as. But the kid is such a good interviewer, and he has really he has top-notch staff that he pulls things out of people that are utterly incredible. If it wasn't for the wings, he wouldn't have a show. But when he does get anyway, they did a whole Hot Wings episode, not a Hot Wings episode, but a thing they put on the internet where it was Michael Keaton interviewing.
Yeah, I did see a little,
and it was like Beetlejuice at the end is like, "Who are you?" Like, I don't know you.
Literally between all sorts of things I've seen him like in the past couple of days that I've been scanning YouTube. He's talked about multiplicity in some depth. He's talked about
that he wanted a sequel to Multiplicity, that he would love to go back and do it.
Yeah.
That is one of the best Michael Keaton roles of all time.
Oh yeah, he loved
doing Pizza Steve is one of the greatest things
how he prepared. And it's fascinating. He talks about like Clean and Sober, Spotlight, which is one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh, he's really
good. The only thing I haven't seen him talk about, and I kind of wish he would, was that short-lived sitcom he did with Jim Belushi called Working Stiffs. Because I recently had a chance to rewatch some of those episodes, and they're a little uneven because the show was trying to figure out what it exactly wanted to be. But he and Jim Belushi had a great comic energy together. This is like 1982, before he even did Night Shift.
I was thinking about this. Somebody asked me, like,
I'd love to see some more of that.
Somebody asked me about Beetlejuice. Like, I was thinking about it, right? Beetlejuice is probably one of my top 10 favorite characters of all time. I love the idea of comic energy. I love the idea of swooping in and just kind of being like, I love him. Like, for me, who used to do improv and all these different things, he is what I would try to bring to every scene, right? Chaos, energy, boom, right? Big. So he's one of my favorite characters of all time. I think the interesting thing here for Keaton is that if he gets to revisit some of his other characters, like, all of a sudden, if he's saying yes at this point, like a Mr. Mom sequel or a fucking rich, a Night Shift sequel. Wouldn't you like to know where Billy is these days? There are
probably face down in a ditch,
dead from meth, with the Blazkowski. Anyway, but I was thinking about it. I've been in love with Michael Keaton since Night Shift, right? Since '82, right? And I just think he's one of our most gifted actors. He's also one of the most compassionate and wise souls that you hear talking about different things, or talking about when he wins an Academy Award, or talking about the different things that have happened to his family, with regards to opioid addiction. And so and so I just think this movie is very enjoyable. I think people are going to come out of it happy. It does have a Chinese food feeling to me. Like, I feel like you may come out of it and like not remember vast chunks of it. And then there are some really good jokes that you do remember that are pretty fun. Let's get some comments before we move on.
Okay.
So let's see. Joe said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen." Hey, brothers. Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean Smithson. Good to see you. Hi, guys, from Missy. Will there be a third? I don't know. This movie's going to make so much money. I don't know.
There will be talk about it. Yeah.
There will be.
What will we call it? What will we call it?
It's got to be Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I was going to say, go to Missy's next. She asked that.
Can you make a third, honestly, named Beetlejuice, which kind of makes me feel like I want to make a third Beetlejuice. The problem I think you get from that, the only problem with it's a great idea. It's the only title, by the way. Although I will tell you, what's your title? No, you go first. Threedlejuice would be funny, but I love the and you're seeing it now. I don't know if they have it in all the stuff, but if you look at the bottom of this, oh Jesus Christ, comments, where are you? Down here at the bottom, like right on the bottom, underneath the Beetlejuice, it does say 2024 AD. And the original title that Burton was kicking around was he was going to call it Beetlejuice 2024 AD, which I thought was a great idea because of the Hammer movies that you and I love so much.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Horror fan,
he's a big horror buff. And so he was thinking about doing, Dracula 72 and, like the Hammer movies.
I'm bad at
I think. Let's see. How did his head grow back to normal size? We don't know. We don't need to know. I don't need to know it. I feel he would get around it. Like, it's not something that, he would get around. I do think, I think the movie is going to do very well. I think people are going to love it. I think people are going to like it. And there will be a lot of people that love it. But I don't know that I'm in love with it yet. It may become one of those repeated viewing movies where you can clear the strands out from the stuff that you really do like. Does that make sense, Rich? Mm-hmm. Like, there are some movies you can watch and go, I don't like this particular strand, or this isn't a particularly strong strand, but I really enjoy, I don't know, some of the comments, like the ending, the wedding, and like some of it really is fun to watch, right? Mm-hmm. And I think maybe we might, upon repeated viewings, get to that point where you maybe like a movie more. Missy says, I agree, Rich. And then she said, agreed. The Hot Ones are more solid, a lot of daytime and late night promotion. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Rich, at some point, the one I would recommend for you where you'll get a lot out of it, and you realize the kid is not just hot wings, is the one with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. He asked questions to Hugh Jackman where Hugh Jackman goes, I was not fucking expecting that question. How did you know that? And he does it with almost everybody. His research staff is crack. Let's see. It's cute. I really enjoy the fact that we got to see it, and there are a lot of parts that just hit your heart. But for me, too chaotic all over the place. It also didn't feel like one of his true movies because there were so many different film styles that was put in this movie. It's not typically a filmmaker style. I think it's all him. I'm not gonna lie. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think this is the type of movie that Tim Burton wants to make. He wants to make a chaos bomb. right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, I think every once in a while the chaos bombs get stopped from happening. I think the style that he wants to do and all the different things he wants to put into a movie, I think are all on display in Beetlejuice, right? I think what happens with him is when every once in a while when he gets checked, when somebody says you can't go that far, you need a through line, like you get The Nightmare Before Christmas, or you get Edward Scissorhands, or you get, Batman, right? Where somebody says there needs to be a through line. But I think he likes the chaos, and I think he's having a lot of fun as the wacky, eccentric filmmaker he is. And I don't think he's had fun in a long time. And I think getting everybody back, and I will say one thing. I think there's one person in the movie that's not having any fun. Winona Ryder looks like she doesn't want to be there. There is a feeling of Winona Ryder that it kind of reminded me of Mark Hamill from the last, not the Last Jedi, the
Rise of Skywalker,
not the Rise of Skywalker, the one before the Last
Jedi.
Last Jedi. Okay, I was right. Okay, so she just looks like, and one of the things you've heard is I didn't see Lydia being a mother, right? She's given some interviews where she's like, I didn't see really Lydia being a mother, but like, from my purposes as somebody who understands how the movie business works, Lydia's got to be a mother because you can't get Jenna Ortega into the movie without her, right? And you need her for the next generation. And I do think if there is a Beetlejuice, I don't know that she would be the focal point like she is here. She definitely has a couple of the storylines working for her. I think its visual style is fine. It's Tim Burton. The animation that happens is very Tim Burton. So I think most people are going to come out of this movie loving it, thinking it's exactly what they were hoping for. And it is not a flat out nosedive. It's not a movie where you legacy sequel it and go, what happened? Like, what the fuck happened here? And I could say that I'm going to say that to people who are watching, who know me. I saw The Crow 2 weeks ago. Holy fuck, what happened? That's what I came out of that movie going, what happened? But Beetlejuice, recommendation for me. Michael Keaton doing what he does, although it's a little bit more of him than we need.
Qualified recommendation for me.
Now, this isn't. I'm probably going to see it again. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And this is where it gets interesting for us because now we shift, because this is going to be something where we can't really talk a lot, but we have to talk about Strange Darling, Rich.
Oh, damn. This is the best movie I've seen in several
This might be the best movie of the year. I called you. Man. I was so excited. Two things happened. I saw it on Wednesday right before I saw Beetlejuice. And then you said you were going to see it on Thursday. I'm like, yes, I have somebody to talk to in private because we can't talk about anything on the show.
You don't want to know too much about this going in.
I would say you don't want to know anything. Just know that it's a great movie and it is well done and it's got a great script and it's got two great lead performances and it's got
cinematography. Take you on a ride.
A ride is a word. A ride is a word.
It was shot on 35.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it was shot on 35 millimeter film. Giovanni Ribisi, the actor, was the cinematographer here, and a lot of what they shot, the style visually,
grainy, and
feels
amazing.
like a callback to 1970s exploitation stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that got Tarantino energized as a director, and I can see it having a similar effect here in this story. And that's as far as I want to go about that.
Yeah, what I would say is the grainy effect. The movie there are several exploitation movies that's reminiscent of, but the grainy and the way the film looks and how the film stock is, because it's shot on 35 millimeter, it looks phenomenal. It looks amazing. It has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel to it, but I don't want you to think it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's not. But it has that feel to it. It even has a cryptic, it has a red crawl that comes across that's eerily reminiscent of the John Larroquette 74, reading of the beginnings of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there are a lot of cool things there. There are 2 star-making performances in this movie, Rich. There are 2 dazzling, amazing performances where people are juggling 2 and 3 different things. And it's just, she's phenomenal. Willa Fitzgerald. May not know her. You may know her. But she plays a character that is in the movie described only as the lady. And she's been in some stuff. She was in The Fall of the House of Usher. She was in Royal Pains. She's been in a couple things recently where she was in The Goldfinch and a couple of other things. And it is a startling star turn from him. She plays the lady, which you see her in Red Scrubs. And the movie toys with, I want to say what things it plays with. It is a psychosexual thriller, so there's a lot going on. So it could be triggering to some folks. Now, the interesting thing here is, Rich, Blink Twice did the gimmick where they did the warning before the movie, and it's cute. It's a cute warning before a movie. This movie legit probably needs a trigger warning just because it's of what it is. But she gives a fantastic, layered, nuanced performance. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before. And she is spectacular in this movie. I know it's early. I think this movie might be the little engine that could, and I think it might be the movie that ends up on a 10 list in March, where you and I are talking about what are its chances and what categories can it win.
Yeah, it's been out for 2 weeks. It's down to about 800 theaters. I'm not sure how much opportunity people are going to get to see it in a theater, but if you're looking for something to do either with Beetlejuice or besides it, instead of it, I would say hunt this down, because
hunt it down. You say like this guy, Rich, like this guy, the demon, as Kyle Gallner, again, another actor that's been in a lot of stuff.
This is just a great time at the movies. I literally saw this movie with like nobody in the theater besides myself, and there were 10 people in the theater with me, and everybody was just a fucking buzz afterwards. And that is the type of movie it is. It is for me and you, right? We have movies where I know you have this, and I hope it's the same for you, but this is the type of movie where I encourage as many people as I know. Have you seen this? You need to see this. Also, can I be with you when you do see it? Because I want to see your reaction as things pile up and just kind of create this. We were talking about Beetlejuice being chaos. This movie is also amazingly, wonderfully chaos. And again, Willa Fitzgerald, fantastic red hair there. Kyle Gallner, amazing, fantastic. And it's these 2 people meeting, and then what happens from there is all that Rich and I are going to say about it. But I will say, like you, it is one of the best movie-going experiences of the year. Like it's so, and in a year, Rich, and I'm a huge fan of these kind of movies. In a year of Longlegs and Arcadian and all these great psycho thrillers and all of these things going on, this is the best movie I've seen this year. Like it is, and it is. I see where in the chat Missy is saying that she can't find. I'm assuming she meant to say, "Yeah, can't find that around here." If you can't find it in your area, just kind of put some blinders on about the movie until it pops up on home video, and then watch it there.
So Missy writes, I think I'm going to have to log off listening to you guys while you're talking about Strange Darling, only because I don't know anything about it. I feel like I'm missing something. We're not saying anything. I don't Google anything about it.
We talked beforehand and said we want to recommend this. but there's no way in hell we're going to tell you why it's so damn good.
But it is.
It's frustrating a little bit because there's stuff I want to dig into and discuss, but
Missy, I think the only place it played in your area is Cinemark. I know you go to the Regal pretty religiously. So it definitely played at Cinemark.
NEPA person?
What?
Is she NEPA?
She's NEPA.
Yeah, unfortunately, yesterday was the last day it was at Cinemark. And because I looked around just to make sure, if I needed to shuffle my schedule, I could catch it elsewhere over the weekend. And when I couldn't find it,
I was so happy you did, because all you do is talk about the movie and how great it is and how, and the only way you can talk about the movie with anybody is that they have to see it, because you cannot explain what you're going through internally watching the movie unless somebody's seen it. And it's going to be one of those movies that if somebody goes, hey, do you have a recommendation, a little off track, a little bit wherever, I think it's going to premiere on Paramount Plus. It looked like at the end I was seeing that it's Paramount Plus produced. Giovanni Ribisi is also producer of the movie. The director is a great young director named J.T. Molnar. And he is we've had a year where I've started to put people on lists of people that I have to watch out for. This guy is one of them. Film director, producer, screenwriter. He is it's a really great movie, and it is a huge thing where sometimes directors get a movie and they take the first step. I don't know if it's going to be the first step for him. It could be one of those movies where he's done something so amazing that you can't possibly live up to it later, or that you try to live up to it and do other movies that are similar. I don't think he ever needs to. I think just make this movie and then go on do a bunch of other things. It is one of the great movies of the year, and I think Willa Fitzgerald is definitely an Oscar contention. I feel, I don't know what performances we're going to get at the end of the year. We're probably going to get a lot that are pretty good. But
there's some stuff coming down the pike that I'm excited to see.
Yeah, but this movie is one of those movies where I just want everybody to see it so I can talk about it. I need a good 10 minutes with anybody who's seen it to go, what about this? I can't even say what I'm thinking. But yeah, Strange Darling, one of the very best of the year. And just, it's an electric movie. It jolts, and it's vibrant, and it's shot entirely on film, no digital at all, which is, somewhere Christopher Nolan's going, yes, good job. But it's a really great little thriller, and it's entirely well done. One of the best screenplays. It's an incredible screenplay because it doesn't give you anything, and then when the things start hitting, you're like, eating a lot early, and I didn't pay attention to some of that shit. And it's really good. I can't talk about it enough. Also, so if you can find it, or when it goes streaming, it's probably going to be streaming very soon.
Okay, Missy, I see that you're saying in the chat that you're going to be in New York tomorrow. I do see that it's at the AMC Empire 25 on 42nd Street, which is a very nice theater. I've been there myself.
It's a great theater. Fantastic theater. 5 levels. Amazing.
It's one screening at 11 o'clock, but I would assume that that's not the only place in the city that has it. You have that Abraham Lincoln documentary in a couple places too. Lucky them.
Yes, the trailer the trailer for the Abraham Lincoln documentary. That's a holy shit trailer. I was with 10 people. Everybody's going, "What is this?" That trailer was astounding. Let's see. At Paramount Plus, we're okay. I'm pretty sure I'll have every streaming. Yeah, I think it's going to be Paramount Plus though, because I think it's a Paramount movie. But in ending our show this week, what I would say is there are a lot of good movies out there right now. There's a ton of stuff out. Beetlejuice is going to have a big weekend. I don't know how big it's going to be. It did 13 million last night. projection. Warner Brothers is being very cautious and optimistic with a $90 million. We think it's going to gross 90. That way, if it grosses 110, they can go, "Oh my God, it's a huge hit."
It overperforms, and when they kind of sort of.
But the Beetlejuice, like one thing that should be said, the budget on Beetlejuice is $10 million, and then the budget on Strange Darling, I was looking at, is $4 million, and it's only grossed about $3 million.
On Beetlejuice?
$100 million.
Oh, $100 million. Okay, I thought you said $10 million there for a second. I was like, wait, what?
What? No.
$10 million. The lunch budget on Beetlejuice. What are you talking
about? $10 million just for Keaton to wear the suit.
Yeah,
but I could easily see Keaton stealing from one of his other co-stars in a previous movie, and going, I don't need a lot of money. I just want, if I could get I don't know, 40% of the ancillary, merch, because I'm on everything. I'm literally everywhere. I just saw a video where he did a thing for DraftKings where he was talking about fantasy football, where it's like, and the funniest thing about it, it was strangely very cognizant of football, where it said, I was going to say cognizant of football, where it said, possession is important. Possession is important. Which is hilarious. But yeah, so Beetlejuice, funny, not a Top Gun Maverick, not a movie that beats the original, but a really well done legacy sequel. And Strange Darling, just the find of the year, maybe for me, because I just feel like I want to watch it with everyone. I would like to get a collective audience of 300 people that I know, sit them in a room or a theater, and just be able to come out and just like talk to everybody, like, what'd you think of this? Or just sit at the back of the theater and watch everybody's reactions as things happen. Because it's one of those movies, like, it's just, if there was a camera on me during the film, Rich, I believe the camera would have like broke for me, like just going like,
yeah.
So, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Strange Darling, one of the best movies of the year. We have a show coming up on Monday, and then I'm going to ask you what you have coming up, because you do have some big things coming up. We have this coming up on Monday. This movie here, which just had a really great little run in theaters. A couple weeks ago, it grossed over $3 million to add to its gross. Really nice little Sean Wright thing beforehand, if you got to see it in the theater again, where he thanked the fans of the movie and thanked Simon Pegg and Nick Frost for all their hard work, and thanks everybody for being a fan of the movie. Shaun of the Dead, celebrating an anniversary, its 20th anniversary. We have that coming up on Monday on Generation Movie. Rich. Oh, also we have this show. We have Loud and Nerdy coming up on Tuesday at 9. I'll be there with my boys, Jerry Kimura and Kyle DeFino. You got anything coming up, Rich?
Well, I just found out earlier today that the short film that I directed, This Way to the Egress, has been selected to screen at the Northeastern PA Horror Fest the first weekend of
This Way October. To the Egress?
This Way to the Egress, yes. And it's going to screen on Friday night at the, I believe it's the Circle Drive-In, which is exciting. I've never seen. I don't think I'll ever again see my name up in on a screen that big.
Circle Drive-In. You're gonna run into my old boss, Dave Castelli runs the Circle Drive-In right now. So
does he? I'll have to stop by. I haven't seen Dave since the old.
The old Endless Mountains. You will have to tell him and say hi and say JW says hi.
Sure.
But This Way to the Egress. This is a big scare festival that they got going on at the Circle Drive-In. It's been widely regarded as one of the better events. Like, they usually have, they have at least one or two major stars every time.
And I would be remiss in also mentioning, and I forgot, I apologize, I didn't send you the poster for this. My cinematic partner in crime, Natasha Bogutsky, who produced This Way to the Egress, and she has Fallout. She is in the cast of that. It was directed by our friend Des, and I have not seen it. I haven't even read the script to it, and I've read the script to most of anything that's been shot around here, one way or another. And I'm excited to see it because it's got some great actors in there, and I'm just really stoked to see this. And again, that's going to be October 4th, Friday night, October 4th.
Friday, October 4th. I think you can get a ticket. I was looking at it. If you get an early ticket, $40 gets you the whole 3 nights.
That's the whole weekend. And there's like a reunion of Nightmare Before Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street Girls. There's some other stuff going on.
They usually have at least 1 or 2 major functions. Like this year we're going to do this. This year we're going to have like the cast from this. So it's a really nice little function. It's become one of the big treats for Halloween for horror fans in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. I look forward to hearing about how great it is and about you saying hi to Dave. But where else can people find your stuff?
They can find all of my reviews, including a much wordier version of what I already said here about Beetlejuice at filmbuffonline.com. Also just posted this week was my article on the 13 anticipated movies of the fall. Made, kind of a bleak mention that there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pike. We're heading into award season. There's some great stuff that I know I'm looking forward to for one reason or another, and hopefully I put a few things onto your radars as well. And going into next week, probably I think it's Wednesday when it's going to drop, I have a review of the new Kevin Smith movie, The 4:30 Movie.
There you go. You were on fire with everything. You can find me, JW Movie Guy, on anywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky. You can find me here on Tuesday nights with my good buddies doing Loud and Nerdy. You can also find me here almost every Monday night with Rich Drees as we do Generation Movie. And again, this week we got Shaun of the Dead coming up. Other movies coming up for us in the month of September. Hellboy, the original Guillermo del Toro Hellboy. Can't be beat. The Hudsucker Proxy, one of the Coen brothers' most eccentric and wacky, really fun movies. And then the really incredible Dark Star, one of John Carpenter's first movies. So we'll be doing all those in the month of September. It's going to be a great September. We're continuing our Filmiversary summer. It's going to be Filmiversary fall and winter as well. Thank you for joining us today. Everybody have a great weekend. Go see some Beetlejuice. Let's get some comments before we go. Did you see Blink Twice? Yes. Congratulations.
That you just glossed by that so fast. Give it a quick thumbs up or thumbs down for everybody at least.
Blink Twice. I really liked it. I thought it was. I thought it was really great.
I have not seen that.
I would say like it's an incredibly well done first film from Zoe Kravitz. She wrote and directed it. It has the trigger warning, which I think is kind of, I don't know where we're headed with it. I think we probably might see more movies with it, but I can't believe Strange Darling doesn't have one. Anyway, but Blink Twice is pretty good, really well done. Channing Tatum playing a dark entrepreneur that apparently is the only film villain these days, or people with money. Where is it next? When is it? Next Friday. Oh, she's saying congratulations to your thing. Yeah, Friday, October 4th. October 4th. There we go. And hugs, boys. Great job. Thank you, Missy. We appreciate you. Thank everybody for joining us today. Go see some Beetlejuice. I got to get back to my reading. I'm sorry. But really great merch. And I hope Michael Keaton gets some of it. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Generation Movie opening weekend. Salvo for Beetlejuice. I was calling it the Deo / oh shit, what did I call it? I don't know. Oh man. Anyway, I can't remember. It's over. Bye. Go see Beetlejuice. Go find Strange Darling if you can, either streaming or in a theater. It's amazing. Bye.
Bye.